to another lovely episode of Cooking with Renz. Today we're going to be making a Katsu Curry, saving bored boyfriends from the horrible menu of Wagamama's sent a few years before now. So during lockdown I decided that I really wanted to make a Katsu Curry. I found a couple of recipes and none of them quite hit the spot. To me, the problem was the sauce consistency. I could never find one that either gave me as much as I wanted, or one that was sort of thick enough to notice it was there. I don't want to make the rice wet. So, after a while I developed my own version. It's not that radical. In fact, the key ingredient is Brenda to make that sauce. It ends up having a nice consistency. You still have enough to notice, whilst not being so damn watery that it might as well not be there in the first place. So, blend we shall. This is Renz food we're dealing with, come on! Let's take a look at some of those tasty ingredients, shall we? Das carrot! A regular fistful of garlic. Onion! Don't f me over again! Chicken stock. Chicken. Naughty. Dark soy. The opening was so much bigger than I thought it was. Oh f***. I thought I was going to do a little sprint. It's so bad. The finest Colombian flour. Breadcrumbs. Honey! A little bit of salt, a little bit of curry powder, but mild. Bay leaves. Ready? This is dangerous. Egg! Garam masala. You know what I love doing? Chopping. But we also need to make sure that knife is sharp now, don't we, boys and girls? We learned a lesson from last time, and that's not to do it like an idiot. This is almost more dangerous. I like my fingers where they are. I don't know the difference between the slots, we're just going to do all of them. Name your sex tape. Right. Now we've done that, you can slice through a blade of grass. So for the sake of efficiency, the first thing I want to do the chop to is the onions. It's bad for your eyes, but it's good for softening the onions. So I'm going to chop this up, get this on a nice low heat, just to get everything rolling like a boulder down a hill following Indiana Jones. Right, so get ready for some very engaging viewing content. Look into my eyes. Right. Precise. Now let's chop some garlic. Time for the squash and slice technique, which if you want to know more about, you might have to watch episode 2 of Cooking with Renz. I am the destroyer of garlic. Garlic disposed of. How is the hardest part of this putting things in a pot? There's garlic everywhere! Right. And the final thing we need to chop is a carrot. We also have to peel the carrots because we're being good boys. I don't even know what a peel looks like. Also, I can do this without taking a layer of my skin off. Low. Oh. I was literally about to be like, I'm doing it, boys, I'm doing it. Celebrity, mother. What is wrong with me? Oh, Lord have mercy. The nice thing about these carrots is I don't have to chop them up very small or precisely. It's going to be small enough to get blend, alright? That's what matters. Ah! I'm joking. Chopping the chicken, we want to be looking for small strips, right? They're going to be breaded, so you don't want it to be too big because it's going to get bigger anyway just with the layers on top of it. So not too big, not too small, somewhere in the middle, exactly perfect. How do I do that? I don't mind a little bit of variation because sometimes it's kind of nice to have like a little one that's a bit more crispy than the other ones, but not too much. So I'll just slice this one nicely like that. That's going to be my finger. Now it's time to introduce some fire to the equation. And with that I mean we're going to simmer our onions. Let's grace this wok with some oil. That's probably an Italian portion of oil, but that's fine. Onion. So really going to keep this on a low heat. Just let that simmer for a couple of minutes. Then we'll introduce the garlic. Is it bad that I also think that's not enough oil, even though I'm pretty sure most people would flinch at what I've just done to this meal? Man, I freaking love the smell of cooking onion. Like, it just makes an entire house smell like good stuff is happening. In the meantime, I'm a drink. Mostly onto my chest. And the next step we're going to be going through is adding the garlic into there. The onions have had a little bit of a head start, so it's going to whack that garlic in there, and then we'll let this all simmer in together for just a smidge as well. Beautiful. It starts turning into an actual meal when you combine the two, you know? It's not just making one thing hot. Right, so now the garlic and the onion have had a couple of minutes head start on this old carrotin. We're going to chuck the carrot in, like that. Like that. And now we're going to stir it all through. And then we're going to take our magic lid. Oh, I missed. And actually we're going to put it down to a smaller heat too. We're going to put it to the smallest one because we're trying to sweat the vegetables out. So while these vegetables are busy getting steamy, we're going to get the kettle and we're going to make some damn stock. Put this puppy on to boil, shall we? So whilst our friend the kettle's boiling, I'm going to slice this stock cube up a little bit. Not much, just enough to make it dissolve a little quicker. Boop, 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 boop. So we want 600 milliliters of this damn here stock. This jug is going to have its capacity tested. Let's give this a little stir-ski, because you are going to be the main liquid portion of this here meal. Whoa, that is steamier than a sauna on hard-priced Thursdays. That's when they unseal the glory holes. Right, so these carrots have been sweating for like 10 or so minutes. This is good. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to bung everything else into that pot that is sauce related. So, whoa, Nelly, look at that. Ow, pain. So now we're going to chuck some of this stock ski in. Not too fast like, we're going to give it a little stir at the same time. Just swirl that around, get the liquidation going on. Smells like stock and vegetables. Now we're going to add a spoonful of bee juice. The bees are after me! Not doing that again. Now we're going to add a spoonful of medium curry powder. Time for that famous garam masala. Just a little spoonful of that as well. Now we want some of the remaining soy sauce to survive the intro. Beautiful. As pretty as the Mona Lisa on the day it was painted, I might say. Add a little sprit of both salt and pepper. Lovely. And to top it all off with a James Bay leaf. Ah! Right, time for my favourite step, and that's the breading. So, what we have here is a pile of sliced chicken. We've got some empty bowl, which will be filled with eggs very soon. We've got a flour, breadcrumbs, and a place where it will end up, like a little conveyor belt. Factory levels of efficiency we have over here on the Cooking with Renz channel. We're going to crack a couple of these eggs into this bowl. Ready? One-handed. Beautiful. And again. Hey, that was more successful. And then we'll give this a little spoon whisk. So this egg is going to be used to bind the rest of the ingredients into the chicken and get that breaded flavour that makes you slightly think of McDonald's but not quite as good. And the only other thing you got to remember is with the flour, we want just a little spritz of your salt and your pep. And we'll stir that in just to season the chicken. Oh, I got flour on my breadcrumb. We're going to take this bit of chick, chuck it in the egg. Chuck it in the flour, get that real nice and covered. And chuck that in the crumbs made of bread. It's all nice and tossed. Just like me on a Friday night. This is going to get messy, I'm not going to lie, the quality tends to drop the more frustrated with the process I get. Can you see my bloody fingers? I'll pity whoever's going to have to clean up this sink in the morning. Oh wait, it's me. Why grab one chicken breast when you can grab 2 chicken breasts? Same effect. I genuinely did try to streamline this process to the point where I had like a sandwich box with each thing, and I tried to batch do it where I put sort of 5 to 10 chunks of chicken into a sandwich box, one with egg, one with flour, one with breadcrumbs, then shake it up. It doesn't work. I promise you, if you're trying to cut corners doing that, it's not worth it. It will result in worse chicken. So you have to bite the bullet and do this by hand, I will admit. I would also say that you can tell that the cross-contamination is starting to happen, where I've got a bit of breadcrumb on my egg and a bit of egg in my flour and a bit of flour in my breadcrumb. There are worse issues to have, because in the end it's all going in the same kind of pot. I encourage holistic cooking. Do it a bit by feel, you know? That could sound like a cover-up for someone who's lazy, but I'm not lazy. I'm just holistic. We've left this to simmer now for about 20 or so minutes, and it's reduced down really nicely. Now it's time to turn this seemingly innocuous pile of vegetables and sauce into a thick curry blend, and that means we're going to have to decant it into our blender tub. Oh, it's made by Braun. They make like shavers and stuff, so shaving your face and your curries. Now we need to try and successfully get as much of this, in fact all of it, into here as is possible. There we go. That is a sloppy Giuseppe right there. Squidge it on in, because we don't want to miss any of the goodness, because we're going to blend it, which is the point. This is the thing that has been missing from some of the recipes I've seen, where a lot of them will tell you to either just sieve out the actual liquid from this, or they'll tell you to just leave it like this. And I think there's a happy middle ground, and that involves just blending the whole damn thing together, and you end up with a far thicker sauce. But that's what I want. I want to notice that my sauce is on my damn meal. Let's get this wild bit of hardware underway. For the record, this blender is legitimately about 20 years old, so the fact that it's still working is kind of a testament to its power. Well done, Braun, you shaving bastards. Oh, that is looking good though. Look and have a... Oh! A little bit more, but this is what we want. That's lovely. It's one of those things where you never realise that carrot is actually a really defining flavour in a katsu, but it's like fantasy fruit twist. Also carrot. Oh, that is beautiful! Look at that. Okay, now we get to that fateful point of the meal where we have to do the fry of the chick. So what I would recommend for this is you want to have a sort of medium to high heat, because you obviously know that there are a few layers on top of the chicken, so you want it to make sure that the chicken is still cooking through thoroughly, but you do want those edges to get nice and crispy. So probably somewhere about 3/4 sort of level of heat. Let's whack this chicken in the friggin' pan. So our pan man. Now, it's completely okay to let those excess bits of breadcrumbs go in there. They'll end up kind of frying all up. With the addition of some oil you will make a kind of nice mixture of kind of breadcrumb, friedy stuff that will kind of come in there. It's almost like the end of a roast dinner where you've got all the little bits and pieces all kind of mushed together with the sauce. Get a little bit of that. So, let's spread this out. I think I might need some more oil actually, because the breadcrumbs do absorb the oil quite a lot actually. And you do want to, like, this is sort of substituting deep frying it. So I'm actually going to up the temperature a little bit more, and we'll get that going. And what I might do is, whilst it's in the pan, let's give it another little spritz of salt and pepper, just because almost no meal is damaged by excess salt and pepper. Some of these chunks, they're not huge, but they're not small either. So you do want to make sure they cook through, because worms are bad unless they're pets. So the next important thing is we need to get that rice going, because we want to be cooking the rice in the water from cold, which means that we need to get this, because it's probably going to take almost as much time as the chicken will do. So let's get some water in here. So we'll smack that on there. We're going to do a couple of things to prepare this water for ricing, and that is chucking a couple of cardamom pods in, a couple of you puppies, and then we also want to give it, again, like almost everything, a little spritz of salt. Lovely. Right, let's take our rice. This is a very, very old container. I wouldn't be surprised if this glass jar genuinely predates me. We're going to do our very precise measurement tactics here, and that is this. Put that heat on. Just to speed along the process, I'm going to grab the saucepan. I don't actually have one for this particular pan, so we're just going to take a bigger one, and we're going to chuck that on there just while it's heating up, just to get the water boiling a little faster. You want the rice to go on the journey, but the journey doesn't have to be as long as possible. Whilst we're waiting for our chicken and our rice to cook, we are going to prepare some garnishes, and that involves carrots, cucumber, and carrot. What we're going to do is rinse that, and we're actually going to get that damn peeler out again. So let's just take off the rotten layer without dropping it maybe. Now we're going to continue to use this peeler, but we're now going to make nice strips and try and keep them as intact as possible, and these are now our garnish. No, finesse apparently is the key to this. Okay, now it's going to do the same thing, but completely different. Where there's a cucumber, and notice how cool I am. I'm chopping it still in the wrapper. Oh. It's almost like getting a pepperoni out of a wrapper, which at the time always, to me, felt like getting a foreskin off a penis. We're going to try and chop this quite fine, because again, same with principle with the carrot, you just don't want it to be the defining flavour in a mouthful. Name of your sex tape. See me stick my tongue out at any point, that means I'm genuinely concentrating. This is not a thing that you need to do in excess. I probably already have done too much cucumber, because it's not a big point of this meal, it's just a nice garnish. I'm just going to chuck that in there. We'll call it a carrot and cucumber mix, because we're modern and trendy. Well, now that's done, it's basically just reheat that, wait till the shit is done, and then that's it. This chicken is starting to look real good. It's getting that crispy outside edge, but I'm thinking that the inside might not actually be pink, and generally speaking, we like our chicken to not be pink. Let's take one of these and just give it a quick split, so we can have a quick idea as to... Ooh, okay. So I can show you guys. That is looking quite white. The rice has been on from 10 minutes since boiling, which means that it's done. And it's actually very good, because you can see that it's basically just about boiled dry. There's still some water in there, but it's basically got to that point where there's nothing left. And that is exactly where I want to be. So we're going to take that heating off from underneath there, and we're going to grab ourselves a sieve. We're going to smash this rice through that sieve. Now, this structurally stable, I promise. We are basically at the point of dishing up. Presentation is 90% of the flavour. Not sure at all. If it tastes good, it tastes good. But it is still nice to make it look pretty. You only have to do this if you're feeling like being a pretentious bastard.
but it's quite nice. Ooh, also avoid full cardamom pods, it's not fun to chew on. Press it down the bowl, and if we've done this somewhat right, bang, bang, rice bowl. Now we're going to chuck some of that precious chick on there. Grab some of the nice little crispy bits. I like getting a little bit of the kind of fried breadcrumbs. You can see on here you've got the fried breadcrumbs in there. There's no chicken there, but it adds like a nice little kind of gritty crunch. We'll have a gritty crunch here on Cooking with Renz. So I'm going to slide that on in here. It's an important detail to point out that these are not burnt. Now we're going to take some of our nice thick sauce. I'm just going to drip that on top. Get a nice little covering, making sure that it's I missed it a bit, that's fine. Look at that, look at that, looky mister. We're on to our winner! And we'll just caress that. That was a particularly sensual way of saying that. I don't know why I did. Maybe I really love carrot. We're going to caress it with some carrot. You want to understate the carrot. It's not a carrot-based dish. It's just nice to add a little bit of that around the edges. I regret my decision not finding such a lot of carrot. We finally bloody did it, boys and girls. We have made a katsu damn curry, the kind of katsu that will make your grandma shiver a little bit if she walked through the door of Wagamama and she'd be like, woohoo, there's some good katsu here. That's the effect I achieve every time. Or like 6 times I've actually made this. Honestly, when you look at it, there's not a lot of ingredients here. It's more about the preparation, the combination, but it's a very effective dish for what is realistically not a huge amount of effort. Like, the worst thing to do here is bread the chicken. Everything else, a little bit of patience, couple of bloody breeze, and you end up with a perfect dish like this. Come on. I can't get it. Come on. Hey! Even on a sword, that's actually pretty good. Thank you all very much for watching us. This journey has been epic, I know. We made some friends, we drank some beer, Renz got a little bit pissed, and we made some real damn good katsu goddamn curry. If you like that, I have 2 things to say to you. And that is, like the video, and also subscribe to me. That seems like a good thing too. I'm holding this by the blade, it's not that sharp, but that's fine. And a third thing, make a damn katsu curry yourself. Comment a little bloody thing below me that says, I made a katsu curry and it wasn't as good as yours, but it was still better than Wagamama's. This has turned into a bit of a vendetta against Wagamama's. That was not the point of this video, but... Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you on the flippy flop.